The clock on the wall ticked louder than usual. Two women, Sarah and Maya, ran through the lobby of a tall office building. Their heels clicked hard on the shiny floor. Both of them were late. Sarah, a white woman with sharp blue eyes, was in front. Maya, a black woman with curly dark hair tied back, followed close behind. At the elevator, a tall white man named Tom stood holding the door. His hand pressed against the silver frame. Sarah rushed forward, her bag swinging at her side. She made it just in time. "Thank you," Sarah said, her voice out of breath but smiling. Tom nodded, holding the door for her. His eyes flicked once toward Maya, who was only a few steps behind, almost there. But instead of waiting, he pulled his hand back. The door slid shut with a metallic slam before Maya could enter. Maya stopped, breathing hard. Her chest rose and fell. She looked at the doors, her reflection staring back at her in the polished steel. The elevator went up, carrying Sarah and Tom away. Her hand shook a little, but not from the running. She whispered to herself, why didn't he wait? Maya pressed the button again, but her heart felt heavier than her body. The lobby was silent except for the soft hum of machines and the faint chatter of people upstairs. When the next elevator came, she stepped inside alone. She looked at herself in the mirror inside the elevator. She forced a smile, but it didn't stay. Her thoughts raced. Would he have held the door if I looked like Sarah? The elevator climbed slowly. With every floor number that lit up, her anger rose higher. By the time it opened to her office floor, her fists were tight. The day was only starting, but something inside her had already changed. Maya walked quickly to her desk, trying to hide her emotions. Sarah was already there, typing fast on her computer, pretending not to notice her. Tom stood at the corner talking with another man, laughing, as though nothing had happened. Maya's chest burned. She wanted to shout, but she also feared the silence that might follow. She took a deep breath, sat down, and whispered to herself again, "It stops with me." The rest of the story, 30 chapters total, each deepening the suspense, conflict, and emotions, will unfold here. Maya spent the morning fighting to stay focused. Her boss, Mr. Gray, walked past her desk twice. His sharp eyes landed on her, as if he could sense her distraction. But he said nothing. The weight of silence pressed harder than words. Sarah glanced at Maya once, then quickly looked back at her screen. She knew what happened, but she didn't speak. Guilt crawled under her skin. She tapped her keyboard faster, as if work could erase what she saw. By lunch, the office buzzed with small conversations. Maya walked to the break room. She poured herself coffee, but her hand still trembled. Tom entered with a wide grin, laughing with another man about a football game. He stopped when he saw Maya, his smile fading slightly. Their eyes met. Maya's heart pounded. Tom looked away, grabbing a bottle of water. For him, it was just another day. For her, it was a wound. Inside, her thoughts screamed, if I stay silent, he wins. If I speak, maybe no one will listen. The tension hung heavy, like a storm waiting to break. That night, Maya lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The elevator moment replayed in her mind again and again, louder each time. The shut doors, the smirk, the silence. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her memory, "Baby, when you see wrong, don't let it grow. Stop it before it spreads." Maya turned on her side. She whispered to the dark, "It stops with me." But stopping it meant facing more than just Tom. It meant facing the silence of Sarah. The blind eyes of the office. The risk of losing her peace, maybe even her job. Her chest tightened with fear, but also with fire. The next morning, Maya stood at the same elevator. Her heart raced as she pressed the button. She thought about leaving it behind, pretending it never happened. But the memory was stronger than the lie. The elevator dinged. The doors opened. Inside stood Tom, his eyes meeting hers. Maya froze for a second, then stepped in. The doors closed behind her. Silence. The numbers lit up, one by one. Her fists clenched. She breathed deeply. The words formed in her chest, burning to be released. And then the elevator moved upward slowly, each second stretching like an hour. Maya stood stiff, her hands pressed to her bag. Tom leaned against the wall, tapping his foot, his face calm as if nothing had happened. Maya's heart thundered. Words fought in her throat, but fear strangled them. She wanted to scream, to ask him why he shut her out yesterday. But her voice stayed locked, just like the doors around her. The elevator stopped at the 6th floor. The doors opened, and 2 more workers walked in. A white woman and a white man. Tom smiled at them. They smiled back, greeting him warmly. Nobody looked at Maya. Her chest ached. She pressed her lips tight. She felt invisible, trapped in plain sight. The elevator climbed again. When it reached the top, the others walked out laughing. Tom walked last, not even glancing at Maya. She stayed behind a second longer, her breath shaking. She whispered, "Not again." That day at her desk, she could barely concentrate. Words blurred on the screen. The noise of the office stabbed her ears, Sarah's clicking keyboard, Tom's booming laugh, the endless chatter of people who never noticed her silence. At lunch, Sarah finally spoke. She stood close and whispered, "I saw what happened yesterday. I didn't say anything. I was scared." Maya looked at her sharply. "Scared of what?" "He didn't shut you out." Sarah lowered her eyes. Shame burned on her face. "I know. But if I had spoken, maybe I'd be next." Maya's voice trembled. "Then I guess I'll always be the one locked outside." She pushed her chair back and walked away. Sarah watched her leave, her heart pounding. Guilt tore at her, but fear kept her still. That night, Maya walked home under the dim streetlights. Every sound echoed, the hum of cars, the click of shoes on the pavement, her own heavy breaths. She remembered her grandmother's words again, "When you see wrong, silence is its best friend." Maya stopped walking. She looked up at the glowing windows of the office building behind her. She whispered to the night air, "Tomorrow, I will not be silent." But tomorrow meant war. The next morning, Maya wore her best suit. Her curls framed her face like a crown. She looked in the mirror before leaving her apartment and told herself, "You are not invisible." At the lobby, she saw Tom again, standing at the elevator. The memory of yesterday rushed back like fire. Her stomach twisted. Sarah entered the lobby too, her eyes darting nervously between them. The elevator doors opened. Tom stepped inside. Sarah hesitated. Maya walked forward boldly. Her heels clicked like drumbeats on the marble floor. She stepped inside the elevator, standing tall beside Tom. Sarah followed quietly. The doors slid shut. Silence. Maya's pulse raced. This was the moment. She turned her head and looked Tom directly in the eye. Her voice was steady, though her hands trembled. "Why didn't you wait for me yesterday?" The words hit the air like a slap. Sarah gasped softly. Tom froze. His face stiffened, caught off guard. For the first time, the silence was his. The elevator climbed, carrying with it the weight of truth. The elevator went silent. Tom's lips pressed tight, his eyes darting from Maya to the numbers glowing above the door. For the first time, he had no joke, no smirk, no escape. Maya held her ground. Her voice shook, but it was louder than fear. "You waited for Sarah. But when I came, you let the doors close in my face. Why?" Sarah's hands trembled at her side. She whispered, "Tom. I saw it too." Tom scoffed, his face turning red. "It was just a door. You're making this bigger than it is." Maya's eyes burned, but her voice grew steadier. "It's always bigger. It's not just the door. It's the silence that follows. It's the way people pretend not to see. But I saw. And Sarah saw. And I will not stay silent. The elevator dinged. The doors opened to the top floor, the CEO's office. And standing there, tall and calm, was Mr. Gray, the CEO himself. He had come down unexpectedly. His sharp eyes scanned the three of them. He stepped inside slowly, the air heavy with tension. "Good morning," he said, his voice deep. He noticed the silence, the stiffness in their faces. His eyes lingered on Maya, then Tom. Maya's chest rose and fell. This was her chance. Her grandmother's voice echoed again in her mind, "When you see wrong, don't let it grow." She took a deep breath. "Mr. Gray, something happened yesterday. Something I can't ignore." The CEO raised an eyebrow. "Go on." Maya's voice carried years of pain and courage in a single moment. She told him what happened, the running to the elevator, the door held for Sarah, the door slammed on her, the silence that followed. Her words were steady, though her throat ached. When she finished, the elevator felt colder, heavier. Mr. Gray's face hardened. He turned to Tom. "Is this true?" Tom shifted uncomfortably. "It was just a misunderstanding." Sarah cut him off, her voice small but clear. "No. It wasn't. I saw it. And I stayed quiet, but she's right. It wasn't fair." The CEO's eyes turned sharp. He looked at Tom, disappointment deep in his stare. Then he looked at Maya. His tone softened. "Thank you for speaking up. I'm sorry you had to go through that here. It will be addressed." Maya's chest loosened, tears pricking her eyes. She nodded slowly. Tom's face was pale. He looked down, unable to meet anyone's eyes. When the elevator reached the top, Mr. Gray stepped out first. He turned back and said, "This company will not tolerate this. Not in silence. Not in shadows. It stops here." Maya stepped out behind him, her shoulders lighter than they had been in days. Sarah followed, quiet but changed. Tom trailed last, his laughter gone. As Maya walked through the office floor, people looked at her differently, not as invisible, but as someone who had spoken, someone who had been heard. She smiled softly to herself. Her grandmother's words whispered in her memory, like a gentle hand on her shoulder, "It stops with me." And this time, it truly had.